Hi guys, Samantha from JSMO Tutorials here, and today I'm going to show you how to create a cute Mokume Gane. So I've got two souffle clay colours here. I believe this is called Robin's Egg Blue, and I'm not quite sure what this colour is. I will have it listed in the supplies. And then I have Primo Pearl White, and these all have been run out on my thinnest setting of my pasta machine. Now the thinnest setting is the one that I can get the clay to go through without being rippled, so it's actually about two settings down, two settings up from my thinnest. So I'm just going to take those and I am going to stack them like so, just on top of each other, and just lightly burnish that, and then I will trim away the excess. Now the reason I'm using the Pearl White Primo rather than a souffle colour is because souffle doesn't have a pearlescent colour, so that's why I am using Primo there, and it works quite well. So now I'm going to take that and I'm going to run that through the same setting that I had these sheets run out on, and then we're going to add some silver leaf. Okay, and there it is. So trim away that excess over there. Okay. Then I want you to grab some silver leaf, any kind will work. This is one that I sell on my Etsy shop. Also on that note, the cutters, blades and the metal leaf that I'm using in today's tutorial is all 20% off on my Etsy shop for 24 hours after this tutorial has been listed publicly. Okay, and you just simply smooth it on like so. Okay, and if you're using souffle, it might take a little bit more than usual to stick, but just by burnishing it down you should get that to stick just fine. Then continue adding silver leaf until you've covered the whole lot. There we go. Then just grab a piece of paper, I'm using deli paper, and just use that to burnish the metal leaf thoroughly onto the surface of the clay, making sure that it is well stuck on. And it doesn't matter if you have little gaps, that's perfectly fine. You just want the clay to be mostly covered. And I'm just burnishing it along, getting rid of any air bubbles and just getting it well stuck on, like so. And there we go. Then I'm just going to lift that up, and that will ripple the clay a little bit, but that's perfectly fine. I'm just going to bring it over a bit, there we go. And I'm going to cut that into 3. Just going to take that and I am going to stack them onto each other like so. And this one's a little short, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to first use this to burnish that metal leaf down so it doesn't stick, and I'm actually just going to roll it out with my roller until it fits. Okay, and there we go, that just about fits. And I'll press it down on the one end, get that to stick. And just pull across, and just so that the metal leaf doesn't stick, because it does get pulled up when you're doing this, I'm just going to use a piece of paper to burnish. Okay. And you're just going to burnish thoroughly because you want all those layers to stick together properly. So burnish quite firmly. Alright. And that should do. Okay, and that will have also stuck it down onto the tile. So now I'm going to bring over 2 of my polymer clay, or they're 3D printed blades, and I'm going to use that to create a pattern. So just press that down into the clay, lift it up, and I'm going to bring over this other one. I'm just gonna use that as well. To smush a pattern in. Okay, then I have got a mini mix of cutters, and this is one size and this is another size of the same set. And let's see, I'm gonna use the capsules, so I'll get the two sizes for that. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to press them in. And I'm not going to press them the whole way in because I don't want the clay to lift up. And just basically what you're doing is you're just creating patterns, because this is a Mokume Gane, and once we shave off this top layer you'll be able to see the patterning. So I'm just going to take those cutters and I'm going to do a variety of patterns. Okay, there we go. So use the capsules, ovals and mini circles. Then I'm just going to grab a ball tool and I'm going to continue making different patterns. So just have fun, play around, just grab the different tools that you might have laying around and have some fun with them and just mark up the clay. Okay, and I think that's as far as I'm going to go because I don't want to overdo it, because you can do that easily and then the pattern just looks too jumbled. So that's the only thing that you do need to be careful, is to not go overboard. So now I'm just going to press in the sides a little bit. Then grab your piece of paper and just go in and give it a very thorough burnish so it just lies nice and flat and you're smoothing all those pieces back together. And don't worry, this won't mess up the pattern. You'll see when it gets sliced that the pattern will still be very apparent. Okay, then I'm just going to press on these edges. Actually, I'll use the blade to press on it, just to squish it back up together, because after burnishing it will have spread out a bit. And if you don't want to have the pattern distorted a little bit, then don't do this. But I don't mind the pattern getting a little distorted. Okay, and then I'll just give it one last really quick burnish, just to even that all out. Like so. And then we are pretty much ready to slice. Okay, so grab a flexible blade that is nice and thin. And what I like to do is I like to just give it a quick wet down. I'll just use like a wet rag to wet the slicing edge, and I find that it generally slides through easier that way. That's just a personal preference. And just gently, carefully slice through, and there you can see the pattern. And keep that, because you can obviously use that. Okay. There we go. And I might slice a little more here just to get a bit of a divot going, just because I would like to see a little more of that metal leaf. So you can take divots out of the pattern like so. Okay, and I'm pretty happy with that. Just put a little divot in there because I feel like it could use a little more. And there we go. Okay, I'm not going to fuss with it too much more because I will end up overdoing it, because I always do that. Then grab a piece of paper and just burnish it flat, because you will have little divots and marks in the pattern. And this is just going to flatten it out so you can cut out your pendant. Okay, then I'll just peel that up. And I'm just going to run over it one more time really quickly, because you saw that there were pieces that got picked up there, and that's just because I was using the same piece and burnishing really hard. If you just give it a real quick burnish like this, that will flatten those pieces out and you won't get any pieces sticking up like so. Alright, and there we go, that looks quite nice. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to pick this up off of the tile, and I'm going to move it onto another tile, one that can go in the oven, okay, and just very quickly burnish it onto that tile so that it sticks. Okay, there we go. Now we're ready to cut out our pieces. Okay, and this is the cutter that I have chosen. Okay, and I also want to see if I can get in some earrings. No, I'm going to have to use different size cutters if I want to put earrings in. Move it up to the edge, maybe I can get some earrings. Okay, then press down nice and firm. Make sure you cut straight through, like so. Lift that up, and I should be able to get some earrings in here. Yes, okay, good. Press down, again, make sure you're pressing firmly into that. Lift up, and repeat. Go, and then we should be able to lift this up without too much trouble. Might stick to the tile a little, but that's alright. Okay, and then you can either keep those center pieces, or you can remove them before you bake, which is what I'm going to do because I'm not going to end up using them. So just pick those up. Okay, and then I'm going to put that into the oven for a full hour at souffle's recommended temperature, and once it has baked we can give it a light sand on the back to reveal some of the pattern on the back, and then we can finish them off. Okay, and here is out of the oven. Now I did pop it into a sink of cold water so that they would cool down quickly. You can of course just leave them to cool naturally if you want. So I'll just pick that up off the tile, and now you can leave the backs exactly the way they are if you want, but I want to give them a sand to reveal the Mokume Gane underneath. So I'm just going to bring over a 400 grit bit of sandpaper, and all I'll do is I'll start to give this a sand until I start to see some semblance of a pattern forming, and it should take all that long. So I'll just continue doing that, and I'll do the same with the other two, and then when that's done we can finish them off. Okay, and then after they're sanded you can see that just brings out the pattern a little bit, and it will also smooth out any bumps or shiny spots that were left because they were baked on a tile. So now I'm going to just bring over some Renaissance wax, and this is just simply to give it a little bit of a shine. You can also use a gloss varnish such as Varathane, that will work as well. Okay, and I'm just going to wipe that over the surface for all of them. Okay, and then I'm going to bring a buffing tool or a Dremel. This is the one that I'm using, and I'm just going to give these a buff, and that will bring out the shine on them. and I'll continue doing that until I'm happy with the finish. Okay, and then you can see that it just brings out a very light sheen. It's nothing too amazing. Okay, and I also buffed the back. So yeah, that's basically it. If you want a shiny finish, you can always just pop some resin on them. That's perfectly fine as well. But I just wanted to give them kind of a matte finish. And also because I buffed them with a buffing wheel, it removed any metal leaf that would have easily come off. So you don't have to really worry about sealing them if you do use the buffing wheel there. And because we burnished it in, it's really well stuck onto the clay. So if you want a shiny finish, again, you can just use resin. That is perfectly fine, but I like the matte finish. So if you enjoyed the tutorial, please let me know in the comments below. And if you would like more tutorials like this, please consider supporting the channel. There is a membership available to support the channel. The join button is just below this video, so please do check that out, as I would really appreciate that, and it helps me create more videos like this one. And if you're interested in the tools that I used, they're all 20% off on my Etsy store for the next 24 hours after this video goes out. So if you're interested, please check that out. The link is in the description below. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.